Good morning, everybody, or good evening, wherever you guys are. Let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me, please. Also, just a note, I tried very hard to hook up my Sony FDRX camera so the quality would be better of this video, but unfortunately it didn't seem to want to sync. So I apologize that it's this very 90s webcam quality. I am going to find a way to make it better. I'm just not, a professional streamer yet. I don't know all my ways around, how to set all this up, but I'm gonna get better. Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming out today. It is my pseudo going away party, which in and of itself is hard to believe. I don't know if I actually mentioned which day I'm leaving. I'm leaving this Tuesday. And yeah, that means we're basically 3 days away. And it's kind of crazy because I woke up this morning and I was actually feeling quite nervous. I don't know if you guys, feel this way before you go on a big trip or you have a big life change. Even if it's something you really want, you still kind of like feel these butterflies and, oh my God, what's going to happen, kind of feeling. So yeah, that's kind of how I woke up this morning. Somebody actually just asked in the comments of, are you excited or nervous, from Edmund? And it really is a mix of both. I think before the last couple of days, it was definitely mainly excited. I have been so excited to not only make this change in my life, but just go on a big journey. Like I'm getting pretty restless just sitting around home every day. I like to travel and be on the road. So I was excited, but now I'm like nervous and thinking about how in the next few days I have to like literally get everything else out of my apartment. As you guys can see, the flowers are gone. I actually have somebody coming to pick up the mural today. So yeah. Let me see here. What are you guys writing to me? Thank you all, by the way, so much for coming out. Truly, truly appreciated. A lot of you congratulating me to be making this change, so thank you so much. I guess somebody had asked which city do you like the most? I don't know if you're talking about like in general or with my upcoming trip, but favorite city ever is probably Tokyo, and favorite city that I hope to see on this trip. I mean, is Santorini a city or is it an island? I'm really excited to go to Santorini in Greece. It is the quintessential like tourist place, but I mean, it looks stunning. So Santorini so far, I actually don't know exactly, where I'm all going to be going on my trip after Greece, but coming up is probably Santorini. Let's see here. From David Johnston, two questions. What disappointments or opportunities never happened in Toronto? A couple other questions after that, but that's a good question. Okay, I guess we'll start with disappointments. Disappointments, well, I had really high hopes, coming here in Toronto as far as acting goes. As some of you probably already know, left Tokyo thinking that, Toronto was going to be even better, even though I was working so well in Tokyo and it was my full-time job and I love the people I worked with. I had an agency who was willing to sponsor my visa. But because I was dating somebody, from Canada who was there with me at the time, and he couldn't keep staying, that was, a factor of why I left. And also because I really wanted to try Toronto, and I thought it would be, so much better being in the Canadian market. But yeah, it definitely didn't go as planned. So many, tears were shed after like the 5 years of trying to make it happen and having it go okay, but just not the way I hoped. Like in general, Toronto is a tough city. I've said it before. To really have a comfortable life here, you really have to have, great connections or a lot of money, or, just, have things go well, because to live here, it's just challenging. As far as opportunities that went really well, probably the amount of people I've met. Like, I've met so many incredible people in this city, and just had so many like life experiences that I never expected to have. I feel like I've really come into myself. I've become an adult, so to say, in this city. It's caused me to be really independent. Sorry, I'm just going to pause myself. From Mark Anthony, because it's showing it's going to expire. He donated $7. Thank you so much, Mark. He posted the quote, "Wherever you go, go with all your heart," from Confucius. That is a fantastic quote. And thank you so much for the donation, Mark. I appreciate it. But just to finish off that question, I think it's the people that I met, it's the opportunity that I had to really come into my own, and also just this city is fabulous. Like, Toronto is a fabulous city to live in. There's so much to do. So I've really enjoyed living here, but it has been challenging, to put it slightly. Let's see here what other questions we got. From Stephen Bell, hello from Australia. It must be pretty late there, so thank you. Thank you for staying up. I look forward to watching your adventures through Greece. How long will you be traveling there? I don't know exactly at this point in time, but most likely it is going to be at least a month, because the more I research it, the more amazing things I find that I want to see and do. So if I can, keep things within a budget and, feel safe and all that kind of stuff, I think I will stay at least a month, because with the Schengen visa for Canadians, I can stay in any of the EU Schengen countries 3 months out of 6 months. So Greece will probably be about a month. Let's see here. Hello to Michael. Hello to Shigeru. Thank you guys so much for coming out. There's so many of you that come, to all my events. Every single one of you, I truly appreciate. Thank you very much. Okay, so I wanted to make a quick statement. And before I do, thank you so much to, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Gediminas. Thank you so much for the €5 donation. I really appreciate it, helping me out on my trip. Thank you so much. Just something that I wanted to address, because I got a lot of questions about this. Some people think that I'm like moving to Greece and somehow, changing my citizenship because I'm moving away from Toronto. So no, I'm not renouncing my Canadian citizenship or, getting citizenship anywhere else at this point in time. I'm literally going to be like a digital nomad with no home, as some people like to say, but I like to say I have a home everywhere. Obviously, my primary residence is still going to be on paper as Canada. It's going to be my mom's place in Calgary, filing taxes, all that kind of jazz. But yeah, I am going to be traveling, probably the rest of this year, probably a lot of next year. So I'm just going to stay within the free visa requirements of most countries. Canadian passport is overall good, even in these COVID times. So yeah, I'm not renouncing my citizenship. I'm not moving to Greece. I don't need any extra paperwork just to clear all that up. Oh, let's see here. So many questions, guys. Thank you very much. Oh, привет, by the way, to any Russians here. I truly appreciate you guys. Just a note that I actually wanted to make about my Russian channel is that I unfortunately haven't been posting on there just because I have been like completely overwhelmed with, all of these changes that are happening and clearing up all my stuff, getting ready for this trip, posting on this channel, working with a lot, more brands, which I'm excited about. So unfortunately, the Russian channel, because, I make $0 on it at this point in time, it just, I haven't been able to put the time towards it. But I am hoping, maybe once things settle down and I'm traveling more to, Russian speaking countries, maybe I'll pick it up a bit more again. So я не забыла про вас, ребята, просто пока не было так много времени, чтобы делать видео на русский. Ну, надеемся, еще как-то получится. Okay. Sometimes these questions like pause for me, so sorry if it's taking me a while. It's just sometimes my screen like just locks for a second and I can't see it as quickly. Okay, McLovin McMuffin has asked me, have you ever been to Belgrade or Serbia? No, I have not. So that is a country that I was considering, but because they've had a bit of an outbreak, it's definitely not a huge outbreak in the scale of, what we're seeing here actually in the West. I think people actually don't realize that, Canada, even though we are technically doing so much better than the States, is still not super low numbers per capita. Like we could stand to do a lot better. So in a way, some of these countries that are having like outbreaks, it's an extra 20, 30 people than they, had before. It is causing, slight concern as far as other countries being open to allowing people to travel from there. So that's the other thing that I have to really be aware of on my trip is that I have to choose countries that I can for sure know that I can get out of and not like be put on lockdown or have other countries, bar me from traveling there because I spent time in that country. So because Serbia kind of had a bit of a outbreak and they were thinking actually about locking it down again, as far as I heard, I'm a little bit hesitant to say that for sure I'm going to go there on this trip. I'd have to see how things go. So that's kind of my answer on that. Of course, I'd like to go see it when it is safe and free to travel. But the next country that I am actually thinking of going to is Albania after Greece. Let me know actually in the comments if any of you guys have been and if you have any suggestions of where to go in Albania, because I had a girlfriend who went a few years ago and just raved about it. She said she loved it. So their cases have been very low. They don't have any like mandatory testing upon arrival. So that's actually a place that I'm considering. Let's see here. Okay, so see, one person liked Albania so far. That's good. That's good. Some people are asking like when I'm going to like go back to Russia or go back to some of the, post-Soviet sort of countries and continue all that. And it's tricky because, I mean, I guess I could, like Belarus, you know, is a place that I've been wanting to go to. But their cases, I think, actually have been on the higher side. So, you know, that's probably not going to happen. Like the Uzbekistan, you know, area, that was another place that I wanted to go. But I think they're actually not at all open to, tourist travelers yet. So I think as far as those kinds of countries, that's probably going to have to be left until probably next year. Because like even with Russia, I really send my love out to everybody there, because I know, you know, their numbers have been quite high, and the lockdowns have been kind of long. So I don't even know if they're accepting people for tourist visas to come to Russia. So I highly doubt I will be coming to Russia or a lot of the post-Soviet sort of countries at all on this trip. The only one probably that I'll be going to is like Ukraine, to maybe see my family for a couple of weeks, because Ukraine is already open. They aren't, having any kind of stipulations about coming. But as with Serbia, I have to be sure that I can go elsewhere after it, because if other countries are barring Ukraine, it's just not, unfortunately, going to work. Somebody actually just asked, or here, Rondrick Braganza asked, wouldn't you rather wait for the numbers to reduce significantly before traveling, even domestically? That is a good question. I think unless this is your job, as it is mine, I don't think, you know, most people should probably be traveling like internationally, especially like here in Canada, where we still have the 14-day quarantine when you come back. You know, for most people who have a job that isn't working from home, that wouldn't really make sense to go for 2 weeks of vacation somewhere and then have to quarantine back at home for 2 months. And then obviously the added risk of traveling and being in an airplane and all that kind of stuff. But I have tried to wait. Like that's what I have been doing for the past, 4 or 5 months, however long it's been. I've been trying to just kind of wait things out, see how it goes. I could have left, July 1st if I wanted to Greece and many other countries, but I thought, no, let's just wait and see with Greece specifically if their numbers totally shoot up. Once they start allowing tourism. Everybody kind of thought that might be the case, but thankfully they have kept things very low. And I honestly already think that they're doing a fantastic job, because they have put so many different provisions in place to, manage the spread. Also the fact that if you do test positive and you're a tourist there, the government will pay for your quarantine and also your medical expenses. And that is huge. Like, obviously, I hope I don't get it. And if I do get it, like, hopefully it would be a mild case that I wouldn't even, need any kind of hospitalization. But it is nice to know that the Greek government is doing that for people to not only, protect their own people, but to help tourists who are coming there, because no medical insurance companies are covering COVID, at least here in Canada. I don't know how it is in other countries, but it is a sketchy time to travel with so many things being uncertain. But because this is my job now, and because I'm super excited to travel, and just I want to travel, obviously, I just feel like, okay, I've waited quite a while. I'm going to choose countries that, are the safest options. And, I'm going to continue my work. I'm not going to be hopping from country to country every single week. I'm going to be safe. I'm not going to go to nightclubs. I'm just going to do everything as I've been doing here in Canada. So I don't see why it should be that much different, other than just, not having, the Canadian healthcare system be the one to help me if and when I get sick. So from Svetlana, a donation, thank you so much. She recommends to see Tirana, Durres, not sure if I'm saying these correctly, Cluj, Saranda, Skoder, Valbona, and in Kosovo, Pristina, Prizren, and if you can go to Scoop in Macedonia. Macedonia is a place that I'm considering as well. I have a friend who's from there, and seeing their pictures has made me want to possibly go there as well. So thank you for the suggestions, Svetlana, and thank you for the donation. I will definitely keep those in mind. Let's see here, guys. From Mr. Beaker, have you ever considered places like Denmark, Iceland, Norway, or Finland? I have, and I think that will definitely be a trip in and of itself when I maybe go to like the northern European nations. But I think since we are kind of getting more to the end of summer, like basically by September, October time, anywhere kind of in Northern Europe starts to get like slightly fall chilly. And I'm trying to like stick to the warmer countries as long as possible. So obviously Greece is going to be boiling. I'm not even, looking forward to how hot it's going to be in August. But I think once we get into like September, October time, I'm really going to prefer to stay more in the southern part of Europe. My plan is to eventually go to Southeast Asia for the winter. I'm really hoping that, places like Thailand or the Philippines, Cambodia, Laos, those are going to be open to tourism for the winter. And Japan, I can't emphasize how much I am looking forward to Japan opening for tourism, because that's definitely one of the top places that I want to go to on this trip. Let's see here. Gavin Perry asked, you said this is your job. Please clarify what you define as a job. Well, I guess I define as a job as something as you make, your living from, or what you love to do, or like, your contribution, to the world. And I thankfully make money from my channel and, working with brands, all that kind of stuff. So thankfully I am able to do this full time at this point. And I really enjoy sharing, my suggestions and stories and inspiring people to go traveling themselves. And I guess this is actually going to be a really interesting period in that kind of storytelling, where I think travel YouTubers are going to be some of the first people who are kind of going to be testing the water, so to say, of what it's like to travel in this COVID sort of times, So I guess, I'm okay with being a guinea pig, and, I feel confident in my traveling abilities, and whatever comes up, I'll deal with it. So yeah, I guess that's what I define as a job. Thank you so much for the donation from Mr. Beaker. Thank you so much. Let's see here. So yeah, somebody mentioned Spicy Salsa King was saying how like Southeast Asia is so much more less expensive than Scandinavia. And of course, like that's also a factor too. I think if I was to do like Scandinavian countries, I would want to do them well. I would want to be able to spend the money to go do all the things I wanted to do, or like have it, sponsored or whatever by a brand or something. So at this point, I don't, really have all that lined up. But once I do, I would definitely do that. From David L23, what place will you visit first in Greece, Alina? Well, definitely Athens, as I'm flying into Athens. And it's been interesting kind of looking up all the suggestions on Lonely Planet, where obviously like the Colosseum and all the, famous ruins and all that kind of stuff is the main attraction. but there are so many other places that I'm really excited to check out. There's supposed to be some incredible markets, some very modern sort of buildings as well. So a lot of people actually told me that they weren't that impressed by Athens, but I don't know. I'm actually excited about it, and from what I've read, I think it'll be interesting. Let's see here. Hello to John Houston, asking me, how do you contribute? I think, were you referring to like the job question, I assume? And I guess, yeah, like just as I mentioned, it is, I think my way of opening up the world for heard of certain countries. I know a lot that like my videos were the reason that they went to Ukraine or Russia. So it's probably like the main niche of my channel is going to the countries that probably not a lot of people know about as much. And I really hope to continue that once borders open, because there are so many other places like Abkhazia near Georgia that I was really excited to go to. And I mean, maybe there actually still is a chance that I would do Georgia and maybe Abkhazia on this trip, because I know Georgia is supposed to be opening in the next couple of months. So if anybody hears if they open, please let me know. Sorry for the delay, guys. It's kind of like shuddering on me, but we will persevere. So what the heck? Okay, I'm just going to leave my chat for just a second. I think it just needs to have a minute with it. But one thing that I wanted to ask you guys is if you would be interested in me doing live streams as I'm like walking around a country, because I've never done something like that before. I feel like I usually need to like sit down and actually have my attention on the chat. And, it's a whole other thing to try and show you around and keep up with the chat. But if I am able to get a SIM card that has enough data and will allow me to stream, let me know if you guys would actually like me to stream as I'm at like, the Coliseum or Coliseum. I'm a little tired this morning, at the Acropolis in Greece, or any other incredible destinations. If you guys would like to see those types of places live on stream, or if you'd prefer to see those kinds of places over a video, or both. I guess we could do both, because I know there are a lot of travel YouTubers that are really getting into live streaming and all that kind of stuff. So let me know if that's something that you guys would be interested in. Thank you so much to Evgeny for the 5 donation. Thank you so much. Спасибо. So Noel Gonzalez has asked if I've ever been to the USA, and I have. Strangely enough, not that much, considering they are our neighbors, and we are very close, of course, with the States. I've actually only been to, my first trip ever, I think, was to San Francisco when I was a kid. That was incredible. I've been to, it's a small sort of place. We had some friends that were just across the border, and for some reason I can't think of the town they were in. It was just like a little sort of place. But I've also been to Florida and to New York a couple times, and that is it. I sadly have not traveled the States as extensively as I would have liked, and I actually had a goal of doing a USA road trip in the next couple of years. But with everything, happening, and my heart truly goes out to the States with everything they're going through with COVID and, God knows everything else. I think I probably would have to delay the trip until that's, a lot better. But I would love to explore the States because it is such a diverse and beautiful country. And it's just something that I haven't done yet. So I definitely want to do that. Thank you so much for the incredible donation, Shigeru. I'm so excited to watch your videos during the trip. I wish your trip will be successful and fantastic, and wish you to be able to come to Japan this year. Thank you so much. I really hope so too. I mean, I have always said that Japan probably, it's hard to say, favorite countries, because, I guess you should say the countries that you're from are your favorite. But if we can just take out, Canada, Ukraine, and I feel like Russia too, because I have so much background there. But if I had to choose a favorite country, if I had to choose a favorite city, it would be Tokyo and it would be Japan. They are, my favorite place to visit. And I think it's the country outside of Ukraine that I have been to the most. I have been to Japan 5 times, I think. So this year will hopefully be 6, and somehow I have a feeling it will happen. I have a feeling that a lot of countries will probably start opening up in the fall, because it's through this summer that we're kind of seeing how tourism is unfolding, considering the situation. So if things can stay fairly stable, hopefully go down, I think a lot more countries will start opening up in the fall. And as far as for Canadians, I don't think really anything is open right now in Southeast Asia, Japan. A lot of Asia actually is closed. It's mainly Europe that's open right now. So I'm really hoping I will make it to Japan. So thank you, Shigeru. And thank you so much to Renee Descartes, a $10 donation. Thank you so much. Alina, check out A&T Travels from 2018, 2019, and Real Russia live streams now. Possible great tips. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think actually somebody else might have mentioned that channel to me. So thank you. Thank you for reinforcing that. And also thank you so much to Gediminas Muraskas for another $10 donation. Thank you so much. You guys are literally so sweet. Thank you so much. Somebody invited me to Bangladesh. Abudul Azza, you are cordially invited to Bangladesh for your next tour, where you can enjoy the longest beach in the world. That would be super, super cool. I have heard really good things about Bangladesh as well. I think that will be, I like to do trips in like sections. I prefer to, stay in one section of the world and, see as much as I can there before moving onward. So I think once things get more open, that's when I will just stay in like an area of the world and, do a cluster of countries that are all close to each other. Let's see here. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee as I look through the questions here. Somebody, or David asked, how is learning Greek coming? So it's hard. It is hard. I don't know about you guys, about like how you look at learning languages, but I've found certain languages to be more challenging than others, just, by the sounds. And when I was in Turkey, I found Turkish incredibly difficult. Like somebody would even just like say a word to me, and I was like, for some reason, my brain couldn't like compute and I wouldn't say it right. Usually I'm good at like hearing, the sounds and being able to repeat it. But with Turkish, I found it very challenging. And now with Greek, me doing Rosetta Stone, I found it super challenging. So I'm going to try my best, but I have a feeling that Greek might be very hard for me to get good at. Thank you so much from Kevin Lawrence Taylor, $10 donation. Please take care and be careful, sweetie. Thank you so much, Kevin. Appreciate it. Michael asking me, do you know some German words? I don't actually. German is not something that I think I've ever really studied. I've only been in like Frankfurt airport over the last few years. I was in Berlin about 10 years ago, long time ago. But one thing that I remember from Berlin is that everybody spoke perfect English. I think that's kind of the case in quite a few European countries where I'm like, how do you guys speak so many languages fluently? And we here in North America are like English. And even in Canada, even though we have French, like most people mainly speak English. And because I was born in, Ukraine, I speak Russian. If I wasn't, I probably would only speak English. Europeans really put us to shame of how many languages they know. So yeah, with Germans, maybe I will extensively explore Germany and learn some German at some point. Jason Parkinson asked, when will you travel to Antarctica? That is one of my dream trips, and that is actually a trip that I really, really want to do with my dad, because him and I have a goal of going to every single continent together, and we have gotten everything except Antarctica. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but I really hope it will. One thing that I actually wanted to share with you guys, one of my upcoming dreams. And just before I do, thank you so much to Crystal Ayers for the donation. Stay safe, and hopefully you'll be able to visit Alaska someday. That is another place I would definitely love to visit. Thank you so much, Crystal. One thing that I wanted to share with you guys that I think would be such a good idea and such a good collaboration. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the company G Adventures. They are a small group tour company that is mainly based on like local travel, adventure travel, much more in the style that I, like to take trips in and that I make content in. And back in the day, I was a travel agent. So I sold G Adventure trips, and I really learned a lot about their products. And after I finished working at the flight agency, I went on a G Adventures trip to Morocco, and it was incredible. Like, they did such a good job of just everything on the tour. The guide was incredible. It was the perfect amount of people. The way they went about the trip, where we were taking a lot of public transportation, we were eating in more local sort of places, taking us to like community sort of events, like nothing too flashy or like too touristy. And I thought, like, wow, this is definitely the kind of, group tour travel that I wish there was more of in the world. So that's actually one of my next dream, like, brand collaborations. Is, I think once I grow my channel, maybe to 100,000, maybe they'll reach out to me. But if they don't, I'll reach out to them and say, like, hey, can we like collaborate, on some trips where I'll document, your tours in exchange, for obviously a free trip, and, hopefully good financial benefits as well. But yeah, they're one of my dream brands, and they have an incredible Antarctica tour. That's like exactly what I want to do, but it's $10,000. Like, going to Antarctica is an investment. So I'm hoping that maybe once I get my channel like to a place where brands are like, please work with us. Hopefully I could get like a sponsored Antarctica trip with my dad, because I think that would be so cool. From Dave K, he asked, do you get any discounts for flights and accommodations from this company? Well, I mean, from G Adventures, we haven't worked together yet, so it wouldn't be for them. But as far as just like getting my accommodations or flights sponsored, no, not at this point, sadly. Other than Airbnb, as I've told you guys, like whenever any of you use my code and you get a discount, once you travel, I get a $25 credit. So very kindly, so many of you have used it. So on my last Trans-Siberian trip, I think I had like $800 of free accommodation. So that was incredible. That was very helpful. And then with this trip, I had about $300 that accumulated over the past 5 months. So I've already used all of that for my upcoming Greece trip. So that is free accommodation, and that is like super, super helpful. So if any of you guys are looking for, a discount code for Airbnb, I always leave one in the link of all my videos. So if you guys need that, that's where you find it. Oh, this is a good question from Dennis S. And is this Dennis from Sukhothai? Let me know. What job in Toronto did you dislike the most? That is a good question. So Sukhothai was definitely not it. That was my best actually waitressing job that I had. I was there for like 4 or 5 years part-time. And the reason I was there for so long is because the people were wonderful. You made good money, and it was like the best restaurant environment I ever worked in. But the restaurants that I worked in before Sukhothai, my God, it was not pretty. Probably the worst one I had was when I first moved here. And it was so hard finding, a job when you didn't have any work experience in Toronto, yet. And the place that I first got hired at was this beautiful Italian restaurant that was supposed to be opening a week from the time that I applied. That's what they told me. I was like, hey, I need a job right away. Like, are you guys actually opening, next week? And the person hired me saying, yes, like next week, you'll have full hours. It'll be great. And they basically kept pushing that for almost a month. And I kept believing them, thinking that, okay, they're going to open anytime. I may as well not look for another job. And I just kept waiting for them to open. And so not only did I lose all that time, but once they opened, they gave me way less hours than I was expecting, and were just like completely rude and just disrespectful. So I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant. They may still be open, but it was an Italian restaurant in Eglinton, and they were not nice people. Thank you so much from Svetlana, another donation. Do you still want to pursue acting? We have some friends who are actors, and it's not easy. I don't think they will ever give up when they are not acting. They do odd jobs. First of all, thank you so much. I think acting is something that I will always love to do. And if the right opportunity presented itself, like, of course, I would do it. But I think to put that as my main focus, kind of as I was doing here in Toronto, where you kind of have to wait around for auditions. You kind of have to put all your other things like on hold, and they just call you, the night before, 2 nights before, and be like, you have this audition then. And, you have to cancel everything else you have going on. You're not getting paid for the audition. And I just, I don't want to do that anymore. If they want to hire me directly and it's a job I love, absolutely. Or if I just have, the free time, absolutely. But as far as like having that be my main focus, waiting around for them to call me, I'm just done with that. Like I much prefer having this channel being my own, like CEO and doing this. I much prefer it. Thank you so much to John Houston for a donation, $15. Thank you so much, John. I truly appreciate it. And then also a donation from Ray Michaeli. Thank you so much. Бажаю удачи, Alina. Спасибо большое. Дякую. Thank you so much. Let's see here. My voice is like kind of going. I have learned that if I was to be a full-time public speaker, I would have to get some kind of training to make my voice last so long. But hopefully, I think, how long have we been going for? 44 minutes. I think, guys, I'm going to go until like an hour. So 15 more minutes. So if you guys have any more questions or things that you'd like me to talk about, please let me know within the next 15 minutes or so. Let's see. The book is on the table asks, have you ever visited any country in South America? I have, only one. Obviously, that whole section of the world is another, place that I really want to check out. I went to Peru the year that I graduated high school, and it was incredible. Like, that was probably the first time that I went anywhere that really surprised me, I guess. Okay, other than Japan. Obviously, I went to Japan before that and was like surprised every single day. But Peru was very eye-opening as well, because before I actually went there, I had no idea that it had this like diversity of, obviously Machu Picchu, is what people know Peru about, but then like the Amazon, the sand dunes that they have there, the cities themselves are super interesting. And there's just a wealth of things to do. So I had an incredible time in Peru. I think we were only there for like 2.5 weeks or something, but it was such a great trip. So that actually really excites me to see what else is, in South America, and doing an extensive tour there. So also on my list. Let's see here. From Sam S., have you ever considered applying for a working holiday visa in an EU country, even if you wouldn't actually be working there? It would allow you to bypass the 3-month Schengen area rules. Thank you for that, Sam. That is a good thing to consider. I think working holidays, if you can get them, are like one of the best ways to travel, because a lot of people aren't able to, save up thousands of dollars before they go on a trip. And if they don't have something that they can do from their, computer, like a YouTube channel, they're not earning money. So if you're able to get a working holiday, it makes things so much kind of less stressful, because you can just, hopefully get a job when you're there and kind of look after your expenses. So maybe I could get a working holiday visa. I don't know if in Europe they have an age limit, because I remember with the Japanese working holiday that I did, I think you had to be under 30. So I'm coming up to that bridge next year. But I know some working holiday visas are 35. So if the European one was 35, then that would be awesome. Maybe I would consider it. But yeah. Thank you so much. $20 donation from Rahul. Best wishes for your new life as a digital nomad, and congrats on 64,000 subs on your channel. Thank you so much, Rahul. This is definitely a big change for me. So thank you. Thank you so much for the donation. Oh, and thank you so much for a $10 donation from Sagar Kathari. That's so sweet. #1 fan. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Oh, somebody wrote in Russian that Korea моя любимая страна. Как вам Korea? Asking, do I love Korea? Have I shared this story? I don't know. I technically snuck in illegally to South Korea. It's not as exciting as that statement just made it out to be. But basically, when my dad and I were flying to Nepal, we had like 13-hour layovers in Seoul. And I was on a Ukrainian passport. He was on a Canadian passport. So he could go into, Korea as a tourist, no problem, without a visa. But I couldn't. And since we were at the airport for so long, they had these like 4-hour tours that, would take you directly from the airport, show you a couple sites in the city, then like bring you back. Really smart idea. And so I really wanted to do that. And so when we went to like the customs sort of clearance, like to get out of the airport, I went to the first counter. I was like, hey, like me and my dad want to go on this tour. We have a flight in 7 hours. Could we still pop out and just do this tour? And the guy was like, well, no, like you have a Ukrainian passport. You need a visa to be in South Korea. And I was like, okay, thank you. I go to the next immigration officer and I was like, hey, I'm here with my dad. Like, we're just going to go on this tour. Like, we'll be back. I promise. And they let me out. So technically I've been to South Korea. I have pictures, as we were like wandering around the tourist sites that they took us to. So technically I have been outside the airport for about 4 hours, but nothing more than that. And I would also, of course, love to explore that more extensively because I love a lot of Korean food. Living here in Toronto was how I probably really got introduced to it, because I don't think I ate that much of it before outside of just the little time that we spent in the airport in Seoul. So yeah, South Korea would definitely be a place I would consider. North Korea, I don't know. Like there are, tours that can take you there. And I think it would be an interesting experience, even though it probably would be like super censored about what you saw. But yeah, actually, if anybody has done North Korea, let me know. I think that would be an interesting trip. Let's see here. Wandering Emma really recommends you would love Bolivia and Ecuador. So diverse. Bolivia has so much to see and do. I've been 4 times. I have heard incredible things about Bolivia. About Ecuador, I don't know a lot, but if you are recommending me it, I will definitely look into it. But yeah, Bolivia, obviously with the, what do they call them? It's the place where you see the reflection in the sand. I can't think of the name. The place that's really famous in Bolivia obviously looks incredible. Let's see here. Thank you for all the suggestions, guys. You guys have some really great country suggestions here. Aw, thank you so much to Katsukate for a 3,000 yen donation. Thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimasu. Man, I miss Japan. Seriously, like that is the country that I can go to, and it's like it changes so much so quickly that every time you go, like there's so much new stuff to see. You will never be bored in Japan. Salt Flats, Ryan Hildebrand, thank you for tuning in to my live stream. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. From Edmund, how much of Canada have you traveled? Well, quite a bit, actually. I mean, BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan. I went to Winnipeg way back in the day. I really don't remember a lot about it, but I have been there. So been to Manitoba. Ontario, I've seen quite extensively now. Quebec, Montreal is the only city that I've been there. A lot to see there as well. I went to Halifax for about 3-4 days, and that's the only country that I've seen in the Maritimes. So that's all the provinces I've been to. I guess it's a little over, half. So yeah, there's obviously a lot to see in Canada, especially the more remote parts, a lot of beautiful nature. And that is probably the top thing that I think I would do for next year, just if I had to, think about what would I do next year travel wise. I think I would probably get back from this really long trip maybe April or May time next year. And then after spending a month or two with my parents and like see some of my friends, I think I would probably do a like cross Canada tour. I think that would be super cool. Go up north, maybe do some more camping sort of style content on my channel, see places that aren't talked about as much in Canada. I think that would be super interesting. Let me know if that's something you guys would enjoy. From Wiggert. I bet you donated to my PayPal a few days ago. Thank you so much. You are always welcome in Newfoundland, just like any other country, lots to explore. That is true. I heard Newfoundland is incredibly beautiful. So I think the Maritimes in general is, well, I mean, obviously Nunavut and Yukon don't get talked a lot about either, but I feel like the Maritimes rarely gets talked about when people think of Canada. And it's probably some of our most stunning nature, you know. I think it was the first part of Canada that, you know, Eastern or European settlers came to in Canada. So I think that would be super fascinating to spend a lot of time in the Maritimes. Have you ever visited Australia and New Zealand, from Noel Gonzalez? Yeah, so I went to Australia and New Zealand on the same trip, also quite a while ago. I think I was 18, so 11 years ago. It's been quite a while, and it was beautiful. I mean, I don't think anybody's ever gone to Australia and New Zealand and was like, it was just okay. Epic nature, you know, where the Lord of the Rings was filmed, it was okay. No, like it's stunning. They're such beautiful countries. The people are so laid back. They're so nice. I had an amazing time. It's nice to be so far from home and still be able to speak English. But they do eat kangaroo, and I know it's no different than, you know, eating cows or any other kind of animals, but that made me a little sad. You see all these like cute kangaroos and they're like, oh yeah, let's have a Bobby and let's put some kangaroo on the Barbie. And I'm like, no, that's so sad. Let's see here. Oh, thank you to Mitos, who actually just asked the comments section, which is a good question. Greeks, could you recommend her some delicious dishes, vegetarian and really Greek origin? That would be very helpful. I would actually like to know what kind of authentic dishes I, you know, should definitely try in Greece. Vegetarian preferred, but as on my Russia trip, I'm definitely not going to be strict about that. I'm not even strict now. I prefer to eat like less, like, you know, animals or whatever in general, but I'm definitely not, you know, vegan. But yeah, let me know what kind of authentic Greek dishes you guys would recommend, because I'm not super well versed in Greek cuisine yet. All right, 3 minutes to go. Let me try and answer at least 3 more questions. Oh, somebody, or Abhe44, Alina, Canadian citizens between ages 18 to 35 are allowed to apply for a working holiday visa in Europe. Visit Ikaria if you can when you are in Greece. It's incredible. Thank you very much, and good to know. So yeah, some places are allowing you to get a working holiday visa up until the age of 35, which is wonderful. So who knows, maybe I would do that sometime, because usually, at least with Japan, it was 6 months working holiday, but then you could extend it to a year. So that's definitely a good amount of time if you really wanted to not have to dart in and out of countries with Schengen rules. From George, who has his name written in Greek, since you can't read my name. As a Greek, I would recommend you spanko pita for veggie. That I have had, and it was super good. Thank you. Okay, so one comment, I've seen this comment a few times. Some of you are saying, I want to work with your father, but you're not replying. So I can't tell you guys how many emails I have gotten from people who saw like the Saskatchewan farming videos and have emailed me like with their resumes asking, like, can my dad hire them to, be farmers or do that kind of stuff or like sponsor their visas. And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys, that's not really something, like we can do. We're not really in that position. Like my dad doesn't own the farm. He works for a other farmer, and right now like they have a full staff, and unless you are actually like Canadian, I think it's a very like long process for them to be able to sponsor you for work. So I'm sorry to everybody who has emailed me about that, and there's been so many letters that I just can't answer them all. So for anybody who watching who is hoping that my dad could sponsor like a farming visa for them, I'm sorry, that's not really something he can do at this point. Let's see here. We just hit 1 hour, but how about I answer two more questions? Let's see here. Mail asks, how about visiting the Middle East, Israel, Palestine, Jordan, etc.? Because I actually haven't addressed that part of the world. Jordan I have been to, and I loved it. I loved Jordan, and that's probably one of the countries that I really wish I had a YouTube channel and was filming content at that time. I was 19, I think, when I went. I went with my dad. We did a trip together where we went to Jordan and Egypt, and it was like incredible. It was incredible. It was kind of our first time to the Middle East, and we ended up going with a kind of like a private sort of tour company in Jordan. Like it was a local company somehow that I found that ended up being amazing. And they basically planned like a private tour for us where we had a driver that like took us to Petra, took us to the Black Sea, took us to a whole bunch of different destinations. We slept out like in the Wadi Rum Desert. It was an unforgettable trip. I really wish I was doing YouTube at that time. So yeah, that whole part of the world is definitely something that I would like to shoot more of on this channel, because I haven't really. So as far as I know, though, a lot of those countries are closed down with COVID right now. So most likely it's not going to be this year, but at some point. It's all on my list. Okay, last question. Let's find something good here. Okay, great last question from Edmund. How do you want to spend the last few days in Toronto? Well, what am I doing today? Today I am painting my bathroom, having Brian come over and help me take apart my bed, selling my last few things on Facebook Marketplace. I've actually sold so many things on Facebook Marketplace that I'm very grateful for to, kind of help me with this trip. Tomorrow is the day that I'm hoping that I'll get all these jobs done today, so that tomorrow I can kind of have as my last day to enjoy this city, to not say goodbye, but, kind of just close this chapter and feel like when I come back to Toronto, most likely it's going to be, as a visitor, not as somebody, who lives here. I have lived here 7 years, so it is kind of bittersweet to be leaving, this place that I've grown so close with, that I've had such a great time in, and opening up a new chapter. So yeah, that's going to be tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, because my flight isn't until a little bit later in the day, I think I am just going to do like my last final things of like getting my bags ready. I'll do a workout, have a shower before I get on the plane, and get to the airport early, because I do plan on filming that whole process. I will be documenting what it is like traveling internationally on a plane. So big things to come, guys. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. This has been really fun, and live streams is something that I really enjoy. So let me know if it's something that you guys would like to see me do more of, because I'm definitely open to that. I will get better webcam quality and make it a much more enjoyable and fun viewing experience. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you so much to everybody who donated on this live stream. It's really helping me, make these incredible trips happen. So truly, thank you all so much for supporting me by watching my content. You have all, become my extended family, and it makes me really happy that we can have this kind of global community that is sharing tips about different places. And, I have a feeling that if I come to countries where some of you guys live, like, I will definitely try and, meet up with some of you, or once hopefully my channel gets bigger, have actual official meetups. So yeah, I think big things to come. I hope all of you are staying safe, but still enjoying the summer, because if you are Canadian, we know how quickly the winter comes. So enjoy the time we have here. Stay safe, guys. And I'm sending you so much love. Next time, tomorrow there is a new video. Tomorrow there's going to be a video about packing for this big trip. The one after that is going to be packing up this whole apartment up until the last, technically filming that today. And then the video after that will be me actually going to Greece. So if you guys wanted to follow along in real time as I'm traveling, make sure that you follow me on Instagram, because that's kind of where I put my live updates. And I may actually be doing some Instagram lives as well. I have actually never done that. So if you guys want to keep up in real time, my Instagram handle is just at Alina McLeod. But yeah, otherwise that's kind of going to be the succession of videos to come on this channel. So thank you guys so much. Sending you all so much love. Have a fantastic Sunday. Thank you for coming to my going away party, and I will see you guys in the next one. Keep being your own kind of beautiful.